So yeah, you know what? Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about this Chris Stuckmann thing. I wrote down some notes, breaking it into like 4 or 5 little sections, because YouTube YouTube has changed the movie review landscape for better or for worse. But it was different when it started back in, I don't know, how long has Chris Stuckmann been doing it? I think 2012, 11, maybe even before. I think it changed the game up to where before YouTube reviewers came along, most people, including myself, thought I could never do that. That's out of my reach, right? Because we're looking at like Ebert and Roper or Siskel and Ebert, whatever it was back then. It just seemed like an unachievable goal because I felt like you had to go through maybe some schooling for it. Just because video in general was different not too long ago. Whereas now, when the bandwidth got up and everybody could make, pretty much their own television station. That's pretty much what YouTube is. You have your own channel. It's literally called a channel. And, you have dedicated viewers, popping in 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week, maybe even more. So the game has changed quite a bit, and if some for better, some for worse, because it gives you immediate, quick access, free access to learning if a movie is good or not. And you can often have a reviewer of your choosing that you align with. Okay, after 10 reviews, I've found that I align with this particular reviewer, so I'm going to stay on this ship. Also, it's armchair quarterback land out there. It really is. And you get a lot of cases where, I'll just say it, people probably say a lot of mean shit because of peer pressure or they want to pick a side. So this first section of the Chris Stuckmann drama that I want to talk about, it's called It's My Channel and I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want. I figured I'd start you off with a bang. It's Chris's channel. Are you going to agree with every single little thing that your favorite YouTuber? I will guarantee you right now, every single one of you, you have a number one YouTuber that you watch 95% of the time. We all have our top 10 YouTubers in our feed, and there's certain ones that they're like, boom, I got to click on that. As soon as he puts out a video or she, boom, I got to click on it. And I guarantee you that number one, not just reviewer, but just YouTube personality in general, I guarantee you're not going to agree with every single thing they say. Because you know what? You are your own person. They are different than you in some ways. Yeah, they're alike, say, if it's a movie reviewer. They might have a very, very similar movie taste. But at the end of the day, they're human beings. And they are not, made up of your DNA. They are going to disagree, or you're going to disagree with them from time to time. And you know what? It's their channel, and they can talk about whatever the fuck they want, and you're going to disagree with it. I wanted to rip the Band-Aid off and just be kind of abrupt and frank with you. Now, as far as what Chris Stuckmann said, and if some of you don't know what this whole drama is about, and it shouldn't even be drama, the only reason it's drama is because it's Chris Stuckmann. If it was any normal, I guess if it was any lower, like if it was me, honestly, if it was me, there'd be no fucking fuss whatsoever. Nobody would give a shit. Okay, they'd go on to their freaking, cheeseburger life, and they wouldn't even give me a second thought because I'm just not at that level, right? But because it's Chris Stuckmann and he has influenced so many people, everything he says is under scrutiny, big time scrutiny. By the way, guys, I never like talking about other YouTubers on my channel. You can always hear it in my voice. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Even if I'm giving somebody praise, when I say somebody else's name, especially if there's drama already wrapped around them, I just don't like talking about this stuff. It's not fun for me, but sometimes I feel like I have to step up and say something put my voice out there, especially if the argument is so one-sided. You know, it seems like everybody has just piled up on this guy. Not everybody, but from what I've seen, a lot of people have. And I think the catalyst for me was there was one channel, they had like a live stream that I caught, and there were like 4 or 5 people, and they were going through that video, and they were just ripping this guy to fucking shreds. I mean, every single they would literally almost pause it after every sentence. And you know how anything you say can be picked apart in a negative way, right? Because context is everything. We don't know what, somebody might be thinking in their head when they say a given sentence. There might be a meaning that we're not completely jiving with. And when you get right down to it, some people, they just want to tear apart. They don't go into anything objectively. And these guys were just, ripping him apart. And you know what? I'll tell you this right now. When you, not just the guys, but when you go in the comments, his comments, and you see just, hundreds of comments of everybody just gang up mentality, right? We always like to be on the, what I call the safe side of an opinion. And you go into a video and you see that 95% of the opinions are just completely, they're all on the same side, and they feel like they want to get their negative opinion out. And I'm not saying they don't believe what they're saying, but I think it's easy to jump on the gang up mentality. And at the end of the day, guys, this is a person. And Chris has said this in videos in the past. You might think that because I'm at this level that I think that I'm the greatest thing and I have no feelings and things don't hurt me. But I'm here to tell you, it hurts. When you have the entire world, it feels like in your own mind, and I know we're all in a bubble here, but when you do everything you can to avoid opening up your own comments because you know that you're going to be ripped to shreds, it can really affect your mental stability. It can destroy you internally. And, words hurt. They really, really do. So when I read this stuff, I couldn't help but just feel bad for Chris. And I'm hoping to God that he doesn't see all this stuff, but I'm sure he does. Whether you're right or wrong, and this is ridiculous because this is a guy talking about a fucking movie. This isn't a guy that slapped a little person in public. This is literally a guy talking about a movie, and we are just obliterating him. I almost don't even want to tell you what I think about what he said in the video because it doesn't even matter. I'm just going to say it, and I might make myself a target, but I think it's disgusting behavior. I really do. I've never got into YouTube to be on the drama side of things. There are a lot of channels that that's their business, and I've talked about this stuff in the past. And I didn't even mention that this video that I saw with these 5 guys gang, all of them had pretty high subscriber counts. And I think when you're way low down there and you're saying this stuff, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But when you are that high up and you kind of have a little bit more influence over a large fan base below you, they're gonna listen to everything you say, and they're gonna jump right on that bandwagon. And I think the only reason I'm saying this is because this is a human being, and this is it's mental health at the end of the day. And again, I hope Chris just shut his laptop and he didn't even bother watching this stuff because it's crazy. And I'm sure this is gonna blow over in no time, and it's not gonna be a big deal at all. But right now, I think it hurts. It really hurts for this stuff to be said over a movie opinion. Chris said, I think maybe a year ago, that he was going to stop bashing movies. And if I have to, I guess, play devil's advocate, when you have a series called Hilariosity, and you're so good at that particular series, and people depend on that series. You know, they were huge fans of Hilariosity reviews. And I think if Chris didn't have a section like that, maybe people wouldn't be freaking out as much. Like, I know people want Chris to tear movies apart. You know, that would like make their day. Like if Chris made a video and said, you know what, you guys are right, I'm going to start ripping movies apart, would that really make you feel great? Would you feel vindicated? Like, we won, now he's going to rip movies apart, you know? And I'll tell you right now, I think criticism-wise, I think it's important to give both sides of the argument. I think it's important to let directors know when they're wrong, or not wrong, but when the movie just did not connect with you as a viewer, right? I've always erred on the side of giving good feedback and bad feedback. I think both are just as important. So that's where I disagree with Chris, but you know what? It's his channel. He decided one day, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't get any enjoyment out of it. I feel like I just want to celebrate films. Now, if you want to dig into that and try to say, hey, but he's making his own movie and he wants to get on the good side of Hollywood, maybe that is the case. I don't know, and I don't care. All right? At the end of the day, it's his channel, and he can do whatever the hell he wants to do. I did have one little thing on here that kind of ties in with what I just said. Why was Madam Web the reason? You know, Chris hasn't done a negative review, like, you know, I don't want to say ripping a movie apart, but he hasn't done that type of video in a long time. So what was it about Madam Web that he felt like he needed to defend that movie? Because it was a big studio Sony movie. Sony has been putting out a lot of shit lately. And I think if I had to, like, you know, be on that side of things, I would maybe question, why did Chris decide, okay, now I have to talk? You know, even the title of the video was, I have to talk about this. And I'm not saying he's wrong. We all have different things going on in our minds, and maybe he just got out of that movie, and he felt like, God, I just feel like I want to talk about this. You know, I've been wanting to actually talk about the studio system and how studio interference is a big, maybe that's what it was, you know? So I'm not saying he was wrong for doing that, but maybe a big studio movie like that wouldn't be my choice to jump out of that side and start talking about it. But you know what? It is what it is. And I don't know what's in Chris Stuckmann's mind, and I don't know what made him think I need to talk about this. And I'm not saying he's wrong, you know? Not saying he's wrong at all. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I've pretty much said all I need to say about the Chris Stuckmann thing. But again, the only reason I wanted to say my part in this was because of the gang up mentality and the way YouTube and the internet is, and Twitter and X, all that stuff. I just don't like to see anybody get piled upon. I don't care how guilty they are. Chris Stuckmann's not guilty of anything, but I just think at the end of the day, it's kind of ugly and ridiculous. It is, okay? So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. I got it out of the way. There we go. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DDLive clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So, thank you for watching, and if you want to watch more, you can go over here, you can go over here, click on one of those. And yeah, hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.